What if I told you there is a seed starting mix recipe that dramatically boosts germination rate and grows robust, healthy seedlings? Well, studies shows that a shocking 70% of home gardeners experience slow germination and weak seedlings that don't survive because of the poor seed starting medium. In this video, I'll reveal my secret seed starting mix recipe that I have been using to start hundreds of seedlings every year. This special mix increases germination rates, boosts vibrant growth, and helps the seedlings establish quickly when transplanted outdoors. By the way, if we haven't met, hi, I'm Gopi, an organic gardener with more than 30 years of hands on gardening experience and a degree in botany. Over the years, I have mastered techniques to utilize every inch of gardening space to maximize yield. My mission is to help you grow abundant, chemical free vegetables in any space. Subscribe to my channel to learn proven high yield strategies, step by step tutorials, and personalized tips to grow abundant, healthy vegetables in any garden size. A good seed starting mix isn't just dirt, it's the foundation for healthy seedlings. It provides the perfect balance of nutrients, drainage, and air to help your seeds grow strong and healthy. So you might be wondering, why can't we just dig up some soil from our garden and use it as seed starting mix? Well, regular garden soil is often too dense and heavy for tiny seedlings. It compacts easily, restricting the roots to grow freely. It also contains pests and germs that can be harmful to young seedlings. Plus, it often doesn't drain well, inviting mold and fungus problems. While commercial mixes can be convenient, they are not always the best option. First, they can be expensive, especially if you are starting many seeds. And second, you often don't know exactly what's in them, which means you lose control over the quality and ingredients. For example, some mixes even contain additives or chemical fertilizers that may not suit your need if you are an organic gardener like me. Making your own mix is way better. First and foremost, it's much cheaper than buying pre-made options. You also have full control over what's going into the mix, and of course, soilless mixes are cleaner and much safer to use indoors. I have used this exact seed starting mix to grow all sorts of garden vegetables, flowers, and herbs, but especially fruiting vegetables like tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, and flowering plants like zinnia and marigold truly benefits from this seed starting mix because of their longer indoor growing time. So what makes a good seed starting mix? It needs to be light and fluffy so roots can grow easily. It needs to hold just the right amount of water, and it needs to be clean so you don't get any nasty diseases. There are three main components of seed starting mix. First, we need a base, something to hold it all together. Then second, we need aeration components which make sure the excess water drains out fast and the roots have enough air to breathe. Then last, we need some nutritional additives to feed the seedlings as they grow. We may also need things to add to balance out the pH level of the soil starting mix if we are using peat moss. Peat moss is a popular option as a base material for seed starting mix because it's really light and airy. It does a great job to hold moisture while at the same time not becoming too compact, which is great for tiny roots. If you want to go with more sustainable product, coconut coir is an excellent alternative. It's made from coconut husks and it does a great job of absorbing water, which is great for seed germination. When using coconut coir, soak it thoroughly before mixing because it usually comes compressed as a brick. Also, make sure to get low salt coconut coir. Some of them are treated with salts, and too much salt can negatively affect the seedling growth. Now, there are a couple of options to improve the aeration of the mix. First is perlite. It creates little pockets of air in the mix, which is so essential for tiny roots. Plus, since it is porous, it provides great drainage. Next is vermiculite. It's very good for holding moisture and nutrient in the mix, which can be used later on by the seedlings. Vermiculite also provides a fluffier feel to the mix. The third important component is the nutritional additives in the seed starting mix. Once the seeds have sprouted, compost provides food for the seedlings to use slowly over time. This will ensure healthy seedlings and stronger roots. It also adds good microorganisms to the soil mix. Worm castings are another excellent option to add to your mix. They are very rich in essential plant nutrients that can be used immediately by the seedlings. And on top of that, it improves texture, which allows for healthy root development. Now, there's the secret ingredient in my seed starting recipe, and it makes a huge difference. It's rock dust. Rock dust is a fine powder that provides minerals like calcium, magnesium, and potassium, which are often lacking in other seed starting mix. Think of it as multivitamins for the seedlings. Now let's get practical. Here's my exact seed starting mix recipe: 2 parts base material plus 1 part of vermiculite, 1 part of perlite, and 1 part worm casting. I usually prefer to use coconut coir, but sometimes if I have any, I use peat moss as well. Sprinkle about 1 tablespoon of rock dust powder into the mix. You don't need much. Now, these measurements are just suggestion. Feel free to change it slightly based on the materials you have available. Now, let's get into the mixing process. Wet the base material a little before you start so it won't be dusty. Don't soak or fully wet the mix, just damp is enough. Combine the components in a large container like a tub and mix thoroughly to even everything out. Once you mix the components together, check the final consistency. It should be damp, but not too wet and not too clumpy. If it's too wet or too clumpy, you can add more perlite. If it's too dry, spray some water and mix it again. Some gardeners like to sterilize the seed starting mix. I don't think it's completely necessary, but it can be a good option if you want to have a very clean mix to avoid any problem. Once your mix is prepared, store it in airtight container so that it won't dry out before you are ready to use it. Remember to add label to the container mentioning the ingredients, ratio, and when you made the mix. Store the sealed container in a dry, dark place. Avoid light and humidity. Making your own mix provides cost saving, full ingredient control, and customization opportunities. It's time to begin your seed starting journey. With your new knowledge, you're all set to grow some happy seedlings. If you have any questions, please share them below. Happy gardening!